Welcome to College Kitchen. I'm your host, Christy. Today I'm joined by chef and owner Mike Brucklear of FA11. They have knockout pasta and pizza dishes, and he's here in our very own colonial kitchen. He's going to show us how to make chicken carbonara and smoked salmon pasta. Let's get started.
All right. So basically you're going to start, this is a really simple dish. It should only take about 5 minutes to make. You're going to start out with, we cooked our pasta ahead of time. What you can do, you can cook a whole package of pasta or just one serving. And you're going to start out your, after you cook it, just toss your pasta in a little bit of olive oil and set it aside. So to make the dish, you're going to start out with a hot pan like this here. You're going to add a little bit of butter, about a tablespoon, and you're going to let that melt. This pan is just a little bit hotter than we'd like it, so we're going to pull it off here a little bit. And we're going to add some olive oil. And that'll kind of cool down your pan as well. Once it's all melted like this, and it started to, once it's all melted and it starts to bubble a little bit, you're going to add some fresh garlic to the pan and mix it up a little bit like that. So once your garlic gets nice and brown like that, you want to add a little bit of onion to the pan. Start to saute that up.
While these are cooking, we're going to check in with Man Food.
What's up, guys? I'm Patrick McDonald.
And I'm Dan Hostein.
Welcome to Man Food. That's right, this is the manliest segment on the Emerson channel. And you know what, Dan? I don't think there's anything manlier than meat and a pie.
Yeah, it's true. That's why we're here in South Boston at KO Catering and Pies to eat a lot of pies.
We opened the shop 13 months ago. We're here in South Boston. We've got sandwiches, a couple of different seafood dishes. We've got something called shrimp on the barbie, a couple of different salads, a whole bunch of different baked goods that are very authentic to Australia as well, and then a unique selection of a couple of different drinks that we have as well that you wouldn't find in your average takeout shop. The whole idea was to serve authentic Australian meat pies. In Australia, it's all about meat, it's all about man food. They're all individual size. They come in a 5-inch pie tin. They all weigh about 8 ounces, half a pound, and there's 4 different types. So you've got the classic, which is basically, it's a hamburger as a pie. So you've got ground beef, cooked off with a whole bunch of different spices, beef stock, tomato paste, and then it's thickened up and it's inside an all butter, all natural crust. Then we do a classic with cheese, which is exactly the same filling, with the addition of white cheddar and Parmesan cheese as well. Then we do an Irish beef stew, which is a really intense, beefy, hearty, stewed beef that's been cooked for about 3.5 hours. The challenge that came from Man Food was eating one of each of our 4 pies at once. Man versus man.
That's right. And
when I heard the challenge, I thought, they've got no hope. Gentlemen, here's dinner.
oh man.
All right.
So just to walk you through it, classic beef. Classic beef with cheese, curried vegetable, Irish beef stew.
Ready? Go. Whoa. This is one of those.
Yeah, wow.
Like, look, this is a pie and it's full of meat.
The crust is flaky. The beef is perfectly seasoned, not too salty.
We're on the 3rd pie. We've both gotten about a quarter in, and we can't take it anymore. These pies are too manly,
They're too delicious. They're too filling.
so I think with one more bite, salute to each other, and to KO, Pies and Catering,
And to Man Food.
and we'll throw in the white flag.
Patrick, you've been honorable. A gentleman and a scholar.
White flag has been thrown. Signing off. This is Patrick McDonald.
This is Dan Hochstein.
This has been
Man Food.
You have a little bit of onion in here and you want them to get soft. You want them to start to get cooked a little bit.
So Mike, I'm just wondering about the pasta. Is there a type that you would recommend to use, or can you just really use any type?
I would say, if possible, I'd get yourself a little bit of fresh pasta, like a fresh linguine or a fresh fettuccine. Those are great. They cook really fast. They cook usually in under a minute, and the flavor on those is better typically for something like this than a dried pasta.
All right, great.
Once you're Once your onions are all browned up and started to get soft, I would then throw in our tomatoes, and I would throw in some asparagus. The asparagus I typically pre-cook. It's easy, you can just throw it in your oven for about 5 minutes and it'll cook up. And really, if you have a grill, you can grill it, but it's definitely not necessary. I leave all this in here for about 2 minutes while everything is starting to come together and warm up. Really, the tomatoes and the asparagus, since the tomatoes, they're fine raw, and the asparagus is already cooked, all you're doing is just letting them warm up a little bit.
Oh, the color is so nice.
Yeah, lots of nice color in there. Once those have started to get a little bit warm, I add a little bit of chicken stock to it. Let that start to boil. And then I put in about half of our goat cheese. So probably about 2 tablespoons, I'd say, worth of goat cheese. And our pulled apart smoked salmon. Smoked salmon is really nice. Some people have a lot of people can be maybe a little scared of smoked salmon if they haven't tried it a lot, but it's really good flavor. It's not too strong. You can buy it at any grocery store, and after you're done, anything you have left over you can save and use again, and it's good in your refrigerator for probably a little over a month, I'd say.
And what other dishes would you say it's good on?
I'd say smoked salmon would be great in the morning with bagel and cream cheese.
Yum.
Or as a sandwich. You can make a little sandwich with smoked salmon and lettuce, tomato, and a little mayo. It would be really good as well.
All right, so a little bit goes a long way.
Yes, it certainly does. So once you start to get your little sauce here, your goat cheese is basically gonna melt and make a nice little sauce with that chicken stock. Chicken stock, again, something you can buy little small containers of it at the grocery store, and it's just as good as anything you'd make at home. I would recommend that if you're going to buy it at the grocery store, you buy low sodium. Sometimes there can be a lot of salt in chicken stock. Basically, you're just about done here. The last step is to put your pasta in. This is pre-cooked pasta that we just tossed in a little bit of olive oil. And we're just about done. If it feels like it's, like you need a little bit more sauce, like this one kind of does, you can always just add a little bit more chicken stock to it. And then you'll end up with a nice little sauce there. The last thing we do before we put it on the plate, take a little bit of fresh dill. You can buy fresh or the dried kind. The fresh one obviously is going to have a little bit more flavor. Put a little bit of your fresh dill in there.
Delicious.
Delicious. That was a good one. And we're ready to put this on the plate.
Perfect. All right, let's serve it up. It smells so yummy.
I'd say just take a little bit of your goat cheese, lay it on top, and if you want to be really fancy, you can put a little bit of your dill on top.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back here with Mike coming up next. Welcome back to College Kitchen. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm here with Mike Brucklier of FA11, and now I'm going to try out some of our delicious smoked salmon pasta. Oh, it's so colorful, I love it. Wow, like, it's so salty and delicious and creamy. Oh, knock this one out of the park. So, how do you get inspirations for awesome dishes like this?
This one, I'd say we were trying to come up with something at the restaurant that was a little light and smoky and had some really nice fresh vegetables for the summer. So we kind of came up with the pairing of the smoked salmon and all the fresh veggies and the grilled asparagus. And it turned out to be one of our most popular summer dishes, so we've kept it on now through the fall and winter.
Oh, I can see why. It's one of the most popular. It's awesome. And what makes FA11 different from other Italian restaurants across Boston?
I would say one of the biggest differences we have is we sell a good bit of pizza. Our biggest seller at our restaurant is our homemade pizzas. And Boston and Back Bay, there's a lot of places that you can get really great pizzas, but for the most part they're takeout or they're very casual. At 47, we're more of a sit-down restaurant, the kind of place you go on a date or take your family or spend an evening with some great pizza, pasta, maybe a bottle of wine, as opposed to the quick pickup of a pizza at your local pizza place that you just take home.
Very cool. And so you're the chef and part owner. I mean, how is it being a chef? Like, what's your favorite part of going into the kitchen every day and whipping up great meals?
I'd say my favorite part is, kind of the process of building the menu and building all the recipes, trying to figure out what things fit on the menu and making sure we have plenty of options that are healthy as well as, more decadent options. We have plenty of options that are, have fish and seafood, and then coming up with really creative ideas for pizza is always fun.
Next, we're going to check in with Green Eats, and when we come back, we're going to be shown how to make a delicious chicken carbonara coming up.
At home, Alex Castillo here for College Kitchen Green Eats. Now, when you think of pizza, the words cheese, sausage, pepperoni, meat come to mind. But here at Piece of Pie Pizza in Allston, they do things a little bit differently. Let's just see how they make vegan pizza come to life. I'm here with Eric, owner and co-founder of Piece of Pie Pizza. Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit how this started, how you got into the business, and what your philosophy behind your restaurant is?
Well, it's funny, it's full circle. For me, I started out delivering pizzas when I was a kid, and as a vegan for over 10 years now, when it was time for me to look at maybe getting involved in the restaurant business with some friends of mine who were looking to, establish some good dining options here in Boston, we noticed that there was a vegan pizzeria already that was having some troubles, and it turned out we had an opportunity to start a whole new one in its place.
What's your inspiration for the taste and the flavor, the aesthetics? What's your creative pizza process, so to speak?
Well, I must confess to not personally being in charge of most of the menu. I did come up with a pizza called the EP, which involves tempeh and spinach. But for me, it's like, what would I want to eat? What was my stomach calling out for?
A large portion of your restaurant obviously is focused on being vegan and having delicious vegan pizza, but there's also an environmental component to it. Do you want to speak a little bit to that?
Sure. Well, businesses consume a lot of stuff, and it was always really important that we would create as much of, or as little of an impact as possible in doing that. So from the very beginning, we used zero VOC paints to remodel the place. Our ceiling tiles are 65% recycled. This counter here is made out of what's called paper stone, which is actually made out of paper.
What would you say are your top 3 favorite pizzas that you offer?
In terms of what we actually offer on the menu, I'm a big fan of that barbecue pizza, even without the kale on it. I like the buffalo chicken pizza quite a bit. Our chicken analog, it's a soy product, is really good. It's got a good texture and everything, so that's what those two have in common. And then I really like the EP. It's got that smoky, rich flavor.
And in order the slice of the day, that's going to be a buffalo base with vegan cheddar, of course, a tofu scramble, and home fries. Let's go ahead and see how it tastes. I went to vegan heaven. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed your tour of Piece of Pie Pizza here in Allston. I liked my first slice so much, I ordered another pie. So, to everyone, have good eats. And for Green Eats College Kitchen, I'm Alex Castillo. Have a good night, everyone.
Welcome back to College Kitchen. If you're just joining us, I'm here with chef and owner of Cafe 47, Mike Brucklier. He's going to show us how to make a mean chicken carbonara. All right, let's do this.
Here we go. So, basically, chicken carbonara is a really classic Italian dish, and it's super easy. So you want to get a pan warmed up, just like this, and it's definitely not the healthiest pasta you can make, but it's one of the most delicious. So you're going to put a little bit of butter in your pan, and once that starts to melt, you're going to put a bunch of chopped up bacon.
Bacon and butter, the 2 B's.
Yes. You're going to cook those, you're going to get those, you're going to start to get that a little bit brown. And that'll take a good minute or two to get those browned up properly. You want to get your pan pretty hot because the more seared the bacon is, the better the dish will end up. So we're starting to get there. Like I said, it takes just a minute or two. There we go, and just kind of mix it up while you're cooking. And there you can see it sizzling up, and it's just about ready. Now, when we get to this point, I put in a little bit of garlic, probably about a half a tablespoon worth of chopped garlic. Let that cook up. And you'll start to see the garlic get a little bit brown. And then you know you're just about ready for your next step. The next thing we're going to add to this is some grilled chicken. If you don't have the ability to grill at your kitchen at home, it's fine to put it in the oven and bake it a little bit. The other option you have is you can always go to a grocery store, and sometimes you can buy pre-packaged grilled chicken. I recommend trying to find one of the ones that doesn't have any preservatives in it. If you can find one of those, it's best. Just look at the label and it'll say right on the label, you know, grilled chicken, and it won't be anything else in the ingredients. So I take your grilled chicken, let that start to get warm, and now your bacon is just about fully cooked, and your garlic as well is just about fully cooked.
While we let this cook, let's check in with CK Gourmet.
Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of CK Gourmet. Tonight I'm here at the South End Formaggio to combine two of my favorite things, shopping and eating. The South End Formaggio is a unique gourmet shop in one of Boston's premier neighborhoods. Let's take a look around.
We have like 200 different kinds of cheese at this point. So you have a variety of milks, a variety of textures, and a really broad range of different cheeses. So there's something for everybody there. We usually have up to 250 different cheeses. Most of our product is imported. And we mainly get things from continental Europe, from France and Italy, some from Spain, the Netherlands. We've been working with Belgium a lot recently.
From their eclectic variety of wine, it's hard not to feel cultured just standing in here.
Matching the flavors, especially three major things: salt, sweet, and acid, which is tasting like tart. Matching those flavors can give you a good pairing that brings out other flavors in the cheese and the wine. It's like a language, so being totally immersed in it helps, but not everybody has that opportunity. So experimenting, you know, getting something and trying it and being adventurous. And you know, if you've never tried something, you don't know if you're going to like it or not, but you won't know until you taste it.
Don't feel like cooking tonight? Don't worry, because the kitchen at the Formaggio has got you covered. From house-made macaroni and cheese to sandwiches and even roasted veggies, take one of these items home and people will think you yourself are a gourmet chef.
So back here is where we do all of our prep, all of our maintenance, and all of our like cutting of the cheeses and stuff. We're making crostini right now. I don't know if there's some in there. They're ready to come out. And so we take bread from like the day before and we slice it up and we put on some olive oil and some herbs and salt and just toast it up. So it's a great way to use up bread that is like stale or old. Just slice it up and toast it, and it gives it like an indefinite shelf life, really, because it's stale and then baked, and, you know, so it's kind of cool.
With the holidays approaching, the South End Formaggio is definitely the place to be. If you're planning a holiday party or looking to brush up on your foodie knowledge, there's no better place to do it. For more information on their menu and store, check out their website at www.southendformaggio.com. For CK Gourmet, I'm Dominique Banyas. Ciao!
All right, now that everything is nice and cooked up, we are going to add a little bit of our chicken stock, which is going to become most of our sauce. Once again, like I said, you can buy chicken stock pre-made. It's really good, and just make sure when you buy it, you buy low sodium. Put a little bit more of that in there. You get this nice sauce. basically with the bacon and the butter and the chicken, and you add your pasta. You can pre-cook the pasta a couple hours. You can even pre-cook the pasta the day before and toss it in a little olive oil and keep it cold in your refrigerator. As you're cooking this, the pasta will kind of suck up a little bit or absorb a little bit of the chicken stock, so you might want to add just a little bit more. Once that boils, you're ready for the last step. Chicken carbonara, one of the main things to know about that is it really has a lot of pepper in it, which gives it a lot of its flavor. You won't need to add any salt to this dish because you have quite a bit of salt already in the bacon. So you're just going to take your pepper and put a decent amount in there. It seems like you might feel like you're putting a little bit too much, but you aren't. Mix that all around a little bit. You get those nice black flecks in there. Usually when you go to a restaurant, your carbonara has a nice kind of creamy sauce to it. And it seems like that's missing now. But your last step is to turn off the heat on here. Take a nice handful of Parmesan cheese. And the last thing we're going to do is put an egg on here. The pasta, the heat of the pasta and the heat of everything we just did will cook this egg for you. You want to be very careful not to get anything too hot, or else the egg will turn into a scrambled egg. But what we want is just a nice little sauce here, which we ended up with a really nice little cream sauce you can see in the bottom there, and we're ready to put it on the plate. So put this on our plate. Get everything out of the pan right in there. Just want to put a little bit of parsley on there and a little bit more cheese.
Now that the pasta carbonara is all finished, time for my favorite part, the sampling. Take a good hearty bite with all the chicken, bacon. And where does pasta carbonara, like, what does that mean?
Pasta carbonara refers to pasta in the style of the coal miner's wife. So it's kind of an old wives' tale that all the little pieces of pepper in there kind of come from the fact that coal miners had coal kind of in their house and stuff, and so that's where that comes from.
Man, I wish I was a miner. If I could eat this every day, I would be a happy lady. Well, we just want to thank Mike so much for being here and all the other restaurants featured on today's show. Thanks so much for watching College Kitchen. Tune in next time.